Okay, welcome to Trashy Stupid Fun. Today I'm covering more films from this awesome set. So it's like one disc down, two to go. Two more sets, well actually four discs to go because it's like 6 discs or 5 discs, and they're both double-sided. Anyways, yeah, the next movies I'm going to talk about are the next films I'm going to discuss are in the Sexploitation genre, which I don't know, it depends on the movie. It's not really my favorite, but I just want to get it out of the way. It's just, I don't know, it's just really, it's just okay. It depends on what the movies are. But I'll get the movies I watched last night out of the way. Now, the first one is High School Hitchhikers. Yeah. Even though apparently it also goes by the name High School Girl Hitchhikers or something, but the girls in the movie were not hitchhikers. Or that I could see anyways. They didn't really hitch a ride with anybody. And they weren't high schoolers. But they were lesbians. And for some reason they were in the woods, holding hands, going cha-la-la through the forest, and they come across a house, like a large house in the middle of nowhere. And they go inside, and then for some reason they find a room and have sex. Yeah. And then anyways, while they're there, they find out that there's somebody else there. A thief. And, well, they don't know he's a thief until afterwards. But anyways, one girl goes downstairs. The main girl, I don't know her name. I don't really care. I didn't like this movie. I'm going to say that right now. I didn't like this movie. Anyways, I'll get to that. Anyways, they go downstairs, and they find out that this dude's there, and they have sex with him. Well, the main girl goes out. She has sex with him, and then her girlfriend comes down, and the 3 of them have sex with this. All 3 of them have sex. And this dude's really ugly. When I was watching it, I thought he was kind of like the weird love child of like Sonny Bono and Crankor from Prince of Space. MS-3K fans might know who I'm talking about. He looks like a giant chicken, a Japanese-looking chicken. Only this guy was American, and he just looked creepy. But after looking at a picture online, he kind of looked like Paul Rubens with a really disgusting mustache. And anyways, it's just after that, it turns out that he stole some jewels and his really weird. He stole them for this woman, and she comes to find him, and they find out that they're gone, and they think that the girl stole them, but it turns out they didn't. And it just leads to a whole bunch of gross torture and magical shirts that just vanish from these women, pretty much. I didn't like this movie at all. It was just pointless sex. It was like a porno with a really bad plot. Yeah, it was really gross. And just made no sense. Oh, and then there's a point where the guys, I'm gonna spoil the crap out of this movie. I don't care. But there's one point where the guy's boss is watching him have sex with one of the captives. And I mean, it could almost be construed as rape, but she's not exactly fighting him. But anyways, it's so gross. It's just, I wanted something interesting to happen. Just nothing all that interesting happened. And the cop, but anyways, back to that scene. It's like, there's a scene where the girl's watching the guy have sex with the girl, and she masturbates to it. They don't show it. They just show her going, and just, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's gross. And then at some point, a cop inspector comes. Because the main girl runs and finds a cop and brings him back. It made no sense. Nothing about it made sense. And he had this little assistant with pigtails, and the gross guy with the mustache eventually has sex with her. And I mean, she seemed willing. She tried to fight. She fought him off. There's some fighting off of this guy, but it's so gross. So yeah, I don't recommend it. It was really gross, and but I mean, I think no. Oh, I'll spoil the ending. It's like it turned out that the jewels were stolen by some other guy, and so they trap him and get him to confess or whatever. But it turns out the jewels were fake. Yeah, the big jewel thief at the end. Turned out he'd stole fake jewels. So it was all for whatever. It was nothing. It was pointless. Pointless movie. So yeah, and then, okay, after that, it was nice to cleanse my palate with a really cheesy sexploitation film, which was kind of a parody of sexploitation films. That movie was Carry On Emmanuel. Which, there's a lot of movies that came out in the 70s that had, some exotic woman named Emmanuel, which I've never seen. I've seen copies of them. I don't know what they're about, but I'm guessing they're sexploitation films. And anyways, this woman is the wife of an ambassador in England. She's French, and apparently, she has sex with a lot of random men because her husband is kind of impotent after falling on some sort of spire or something. I don't remember what it was, but it's a very funny movie, And she was just a very empowered woman who likes having sex, and I thought that was interesting. Because that's going to lead me to another film I want to talk about. I didn't want to rewatch because it's just not my favorite genre, but I just wanted to talk about it because some of these films are just wackadoo. But anyways, it was Carry On Emmanuel was a fun, very, very zany, very screwball sex comedy. It was very funny. I liked it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I have a favorite part, but I probably watched again because it was kind of funny. And didn't have a lot in the way of nudity, just a lot of implied sex, and it was it was silly. It was a silly movie, and I liked it. But that leads me to another sexploitation movie that I kind of liked, but I can't seem to rewatch it. I don't know what it is, but anyways, the other movie I want to talk about, since I'm talking about sexploitation now, is Super Chick, and I brought that one up a few times. And that's a fun little movie because it's about a woman, a brunette, by day. When she's a stewardess or flight attendant, if you want to get politically correct about it. Anyway, she's a stewardess, and normally she's a stewardess named Tara Batu, even I think Tara Batu is her name under her Super Chick persona too. But anyways, by day she works as a flight attendant on a plane. But when she lands, she takes off the wig, and she's a blonde, buxom woman who, whenever she's, on her, is it layway or waylay? I forget what the term is, but when she gets waylaid, I guess, you could say, and she has a different man in every place she goes to. And they all want to marry her, and she doesn't want to be tied to one man. She likes to have fun. So that kind of makes it kind of I want to look at it as like a feminist sexploitation film in a way. She takes karate. She's very an independent woman, and I like that. That's actually one of the better ones I've seen. A lot of fun, a lot of nudity, a lot of just craziness. And that one other one I didn't like, but I gotta talk about it. I might have mentioned it once. Is Cindy and Donna. It's on the set I have of exploitation films, and it's just bad. It's just these two girls experimenting with sex and drugs, and hell, I'm gonna spoil the ending. It ends with one of them getting run over by a car. It just comes out of nowhere. They're having all the sex, and all of a sudden one of them leaves, and the sister goes out to chase after her or whatever, and she gets hit by a car. A lot of these movies just make no sense to me, but I like torturing myself, apparently. So anyways, after all these movies, well, those two I mentioned, the first two I mentioned, High School Hitchhikers and Carry On Emmanuel, after all that, I turned to Gamera, the 90s, this set that I got, I've only watched the first one, and I'm going to get to that tomorrow. But yeah, those are fun. That was a good palate cleanser, so after all those crappy movies, the one crappy movie and the one, after all that sex, it's good to have a fun monster movie to get to, so. And this was episode 10, by the way. I just wanted to get one of these big subgenres out of the way, because I will cover other ones, like kung fu movies and crap like that, so. Until next time.